Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we will be talking about Fluxx across America and around the world. Now, Fluxx is designed by Andrew Looney, and the art is by Katie Melrose, and it's published by Looney Labs. Get it? Get it? Okay.
I think they got it.
Okay.
All right, so Fluxx, this is a game where, just like the name sounds, everything is in flux, including the rules and the win conditions of the game. So we have played a lot of different versions of Fluxx over the years. Overall, I'm going to give you show you how to play, but just know that we're basically trying to combine two things to create a goal. I'm going to use Across America as our template of how to play the game, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what's special and new about Across America and around the world. All right, here is our setup for Fluxx. All setups for all Fluxxes are basically the exact same. We're going to set out our basic rules, and then we're going to shuffle the rest of the cards into one giant deck. At the beginning of the game, every player is going to draw 3 cards off the top of the deck. And then we're going to start playing. You can draw 1 card, and you can play 1 card. Those are the basic rules starting off for every single Fluxx game. All right, so on our turn, let's go ahead and draw a card, and let's see what happens. All right, so we've got our hand of cards here. What we're going to do is we're going to start off by playing a keeper. Now, keepers are some of the ingredients that we're going to need in order to fulfill the goal. There's no goal out there yet, but it's something you can play on your turn. As the name of the game suggests, all the rules are in Fluxx, so maybe on a future turn, someone plays that. Now, at the beginning of every turn, we're going to draw 4 cards, but you're still going to play 1 card. Or maybe later on, someone adds that card on. So now, every turn, we're going to draw 4 cards, but play 3 of them. Maybe there's a limit of keepers, how many keepers you can keep. Now you can only keep 4 keepers. Or there's a mystery play that you can do. This one says, once during your turn, you may take the top card from the draw pile and play it immediately. So you get a free play, but you have no idea whether it's going to help you or hurt you. Normally, you can only ever have 1 goal out in front there, but maybe if you play that card, you'd have 2 goals out front. So there's all different kinds of new rules that you can add to the game in order to make things a little bit wilder. All right, so once someone plays a goal, now this is the goal that everyone's trying to achieve. If anybody else plays a goal later on, this one's going to get discarded, and then the new card that was played, that's the new goal that everyone's trying to achieve. There are also action cards that you can play. Those are going to be things that you can do to let you draw some cards, like the road trip card, that allows you to count the different states represented by the keepers that you have in play and draw that many cards. Or we have the 4 directions that lets you choose one of those different items they have on the card there, choose one of them and do that action. There's all different actions that you can do. They're all special. They're all going to give you some kind of benefit in some way. But eventually, what's going to happen is, as you play, one player is going to have both pieces of the recipe needed in order to complete the goal. This particular goal was talking about California parks, and you needed to have the redwoods and the Yosemite in order to complete it. We've got both keepers in front of us. At the same time, while that is the goal card, we are now declaring ourselves the winner. That's all there is to the game. You want to make sure you kind of reference this rule section of the board as often as possible to make sure you're doing everything right, doing the proper amount of draws, proper amount of plays, and following any other additional rules that might have gotten played by these wild cards. You're going to want to play the actions in whatever advantageous way that you can, but really what it all boils down to is you trying to be the person that has the keepers in front of you that matches the goal card, so you can be the winner.
I really like the names of the action cards in this. I felt like they made so much sense. So in the Across America, there is this Route 66 card. So what it is...
Did you say route or route?
I said route?
Yeah, but do you say route? I think, is it route? I always people say Route 66.
I thought it was, but route...
I think it's actually pronounced route. I hear route.
Now you're like making me like, oh really? I don't. Okay, so there's this 66 card. Now my brain is doing weird things, but it's super cool because when you play this action card, you have to pretend for that round what the rules are. You draw 6 cards and you play 6 cards, and it just makes a lot of sense because it's Across America. But then in the Across the World one, they have a 7 Wonders card where it's the same thing. That the action is you play this card and you have to pretend for that round that the rule is that you draw 7 cards and you play 7 cards. And there's a ton of cards like that where thematically they just make a lot of sense, and I like that they do that because it just like ties it together.
Yes, if you've never played a Fluxx game,
where have you been?
First of all, where have you been? It's this game is we've heard about it and played it a lot over the years, but yeah, it's constantly shifting set of rules and constantly shifting goals that you're chasing after, and the cards that you have might shift, and who you are might even shift. Everything about this game might shift. it leads for a very chaotic experience, but it's a chaotic fun, right? And it makes it so that you don't have like a lot of control. You have the feeling of control. You might have like a really cool play plan of you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then bam, I'll have everything I need. And then like the ground, the rug's pulled out from underneath you, and then you no longer have what you need, or everything, whatever it is shifted. So that's just all the Fluxxes are about, including these ones as well.
So all the Fluxxes are pretty travel friendly, but I specifically like that these are travel friendly because they're about traveling, and I like stuff like that. This is easily something I could just throw in my bag or throw in my purse if we were going anywhere, and it would be a quick game that we could play anywhere. Like if we're at a rest stop and we're driving, we could just get this out. And I really like when like travel themed games are travel friendly. Good job.
There's actually some like low-key educational opportunities in this game as well. Not that when you're playing it, you're going to be like, and now let's read about the Eiffel Tower, and it was built in whatever it is. You're not going to do that, but you have the opportunity to kind of stop and say, why are those two things paired together? Why are Yosemite and whatever it is paired together? Those are both national parks, and they're both in California, and they're both whatever. And in fact, on the rule book as well, when you flip it over, there's a map of the world, around the world, and a map of the United States across America that shows you where all these different things are that are talked about in this game. So there's, it's not an educational game by any means, but at the same time, there's little moments where you can kind of use these little teaching moments, which is great for our daughters. And we played this with our daughters as well, and had a fantastic time. They loved the chaos.
Oh yeah, yes they did.
And they loved causing the chaos, even if it didn't necessarily help them, which was just a blast.
Okay, so the very first time I played Fluxx, which is a very, very long time ago, I really didn't enjoy it, and I'm wondering now if it's we had just started getting into strategy games, and maybe I was just like really hungry for that, and so this wasn't, it wasn't the appetite I want, and it could also be the people we played with. Like sometimes that happens when you play a game that people really, really love, that they don't actually teach you the game, they just want to play it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You all know what I'm talking about. That has happened. You might have even been that person. But I did not have that experience when we played both of these expansions. I actually really like them, which I was surprised about. And I think one of the reasons why I was able to enjoy them so much is because for the games changing so much and for you having not a lot of control, I felt like the amount of time you're playing the game kind of fit that perfectly. When you don't have a lot of control in the game and it's changing so much and it's really chaotic, it needs to be a shorter game or else it kind of overstays its welcome. And I felt like these two Fluxxes particularly did not do that. They were short enough to where the chaoticness and the loss of control didn't really affect you because it was just a fun, chaotic time.
For me, I think kind of similar to your starting experience playing Fluxx, is there's a certain prestige that goes along with these bigger, heavier games.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that's still where my favorite games generally are. But what has happened is I couldn't appreciate smaller games as much. I would just simply say, if it's not big, if it's not grandiose, it's a pass. And so now looking back on it, and I can kind of, now that I've a little bit more experience as a gamer, I'm learning to appreciate all games for whatever they are. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? That's really, really clever. That's the actual rules of the game mid-game changing. That's super interesting. You don't see that. That takes some next level planning, and the balance that would go into that is actually not as easy as it might sound. And I also feel like over the years, from the base Fluxx to all the iterations that have happened since then, they've gotten better and better and better at making a rounder experience too. So it's not just like this chaos and then you move on and you giggle and then you move on. No, this is an actual, I feel like they've found the best ratios and the best actions and the best versions of things to pull it all together in a way that's really enjoyable. This is a family experience that I can share with our kids, and they're just going to have a blast. Is this going to be the first game I pull off the shelves when I have a game night? Probably not. But nonetheless, this is just a really fun time.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks so much for watching, and we're going to see you next time.
Bye.